Oh, Seven Citizens Black here from Casa Black Gaming, and so with the new huge update to Star Citizen 4.0 comes a new moment in the game where we finally have multiple systems, and as the patches leading up to 4.0 came into existence, many new changes to overall gameplay also happened, making pretty much all guides before this useless. Well, I aim to change that with a handful of various topics, which I will post in one large video guide, and then also break up into smaller chunk-sized guides by topic. But no matter how you find these guides, they will all be quick, to the point, with useful timestamps below and in their own playlist on my YouTube channel. These guides will be aimed at either new players or players who might have taken a break and are fresh to Pyro and all the game has to offer, so no matter your skill level, you should get something out of these guides. So let's stop the chattering and get to the info. So Star Citizen is a game where prepping for your adventures is pretty much almost mandatory, especially if you want to be successful. There is no magic inventory like you have with many games where if you place something in a storage bin in one city, it's available at every city. You and the items must be at the same location. Now, to some, this kind of realistic approach to inventory and having too much prep can be a turnoff, and I get that. But overall, I have found it much easier to do the work early on after a new update, so you're always ready to go anytime that you need to in the future, and the inventory system works well with the scope of the game that we have and gives meaning to transporting items, so it's overall a very good thing. Now, for new players that are new to the game, you will probably not quite understand how storage and inventory works, as it can be one of the hardest things to understand. So this is also a guide on the system, so whether you decide to plan as well as I have here or not, you will at least get the gist of what the system can do and where to find your stuff, because that's the most important thing, right? Knowing where and how to find and equip your items. So let's get to the info. So the inventory system works like this. After you create a character and when choosing your starter system and then that planet, this decision is super important because everything associated with your account, which means your ship components, the paints that you might have bought with the real money store or real money armor, cosmetics, furniture items, whatever, not to mention things that you've collected from your previous playthroughs if this is a new update where there was not any sort of item wipe. So the armor that you collected off of NPCs or cool items that you found in chests, etc. All of those items will be at your starting planet or city. So for this little example, let's just say you chose Orison on Crusader. There it is. Now, as you travel around Orison, the city below, you will come upon inventory kiosks that look like this. You simply walk up to them and interact with them, and if the view is weird, just hold down F4 or Z and move your mouse around to adjust the view. Now from here, you have access to your undersuits, your armor, weapons, backpack, med guns, or other utility tools like your multi-tool, tractor beams, etc. Things that go on your person. Also your consumables that you've purchased, such as ammo, drinks, food, etc. They're all going to show up here for you to drag onto your body. Now, while we're talking consumables, real quick, let me give you a great tip for when you're first starting out. No matter which planet you begin on, there will be some sort of shop where you can buy those consumables. In one of my earlier guides, I showed you the path from the hab where you wake up and then go straight to the spaceport. But I don't recommend that you just run straight to the spaceport when you first arrive in the game after an update, especially if you're not a new player and you've got credits. Go ahead and take the quick detour to a shop and pick up things like plenty of drinks, food, ammo, a multi-tool and tractor beam, and any other attachments that you might need. Go ahead and stop by the hospital and grab a bunch of med pens, med guns, and the med gun green goop refills, not to mention ammo for your weapons, and be sure to grab quite a bit of each. Not to store on your body, but to set up our inventory bins later, but we'll get to that. Look for a video showing where all the little starter shops are on each starter planet. Alright, so now where were we with the guide? Oh yeah, I was showing the kiosk and all the items that you can equip from them, including all of those items that I just showed you and where to grab them. But besides these kiosks, there is more storage to discuss. The next one being where your ships are stored. And for that, we need to head to the spaceport in our hangar. If you're not sure how to get to the spaceport, I have those exact locations already broken down in previous videos or timestamps down below if this is the overall large guide video, and those are going to be called Getting to Your Hangars. Now, once you're in your personal hangar, you should see a ship terminal near the elevator you just came out from. Here is where you can have your ships delivered. There is two parts to this process. You have the ship delivered by pressing this deliver option, and this will just have the ship available at this location as in the starter city, as I mentioned earlier in this video. This allows you to equip components, weapons, or paint jobs before you actually call it up to the hangar. Now, I've already covered this in a video or the timestamp below titled Ship Loadouts and Equipping, so just check those out. I just wanted to mention this terminal since it is a part of the inventory system. Now moving on, we come to the biggest change in inventory for Star Citizen and probably forever, and that is the cargo elevators, which is where you will do most of your inventory and cargo tasks. Using this terminal here, you must first send the elevator down into the warehouse. Now the warehouse is just another term for the city location, or if you're up in a space station or another station, that station's inventory, or on a planet at an outpost, you might have landing pads with cargo elevators attached to those. So the inventory there would be for that outpost. Regardless, it's considered that location's warehouse. Now, anything you buy in a city or station or outpost will by default end up in that location's inventory warehouse and only available there. For those smaller items that go on your body, those can of course be accessed through that inventory kiosk that I showed you earlier where we equipped ammo, drinks, etc. But you can also access those items here at the cargo elevator, which is great for organizing large amounts into cargo boxes. But if you're wanting to just place things on your body, I recommend those smaller kiosks from before. The cargo elevator is good for accessing and bringing up larger items like ship components or cargo boxes for missions or your own cargo that you have brought here. You can stage things here or bring your loot you found out in the world to any cargo elevator on any station or outpost and load it on here and then send it down, and it's secure there until you call it back up. Now in your personal hangar, which is only at your starter city that you chose, you can even leave cargo boxes out around the hangar so long as it's behind the warning lines that go around the perimeter of the hangar, because anything on the hangar floor is going to disappear when you call ships up and they'll fall through. Now, having the ability to leave items out in your personal hangar is how you can easily set up various cargo boxes to have certain items in them to speed up preparation, and I'll show you how that works now. Now this step assumes that you already have some cargo containers which are not found at the starting cities, but they can be bought at the orbital stations above each starting planet in the cargo section of those stations. From the cargo elevator, let's set up an armor box. The first thing you do is send the elevator down if it's not already, and then assuming you have armor stored at the location or city, you select the armor filter. Now I like to go by piece, so the undersuits first. I drag over those that I want from the right side to the left. In this box, I will be going for my white and blue look, which is my general look. I can do all sorts of stuff from medical to combat in. After I have the undersuits that I want, I go through and do the same thing for each piece. So the helmets, the chest pieces, the arms, the legs, and the backpacks. Then once I have all pieces that I want in this box, from the right side, I select the container filter, which usually brings up any cargo containers that I have, which again, as mentioned earlier, you would have needed to gone out and bought them and brought them back to this location. If you do not already have some, but if you bought them at an earlier time before this recent update, they will of course be here at your starting hangar with this new patch. Anyway, choose the cargo storage box that you wish to use. I would recommend at least a size 4 SCU box because armor can take up a lot of space. Once you have found the cargo box that you wish to use, on the right menu, double click it to open it. You're going to know it's open because the top will be labeled something like mine is here that says store all 8 SCU self-storage container up at the top. Then you simply drag and drop each piece. Now I know it sucks to have to drag each piece, and you can try the select all feature at the top of the left window and move them all at once, but at this time it was not working all the time and you have to repeat the steps all over again. So just to be safe, I just drag each one at a time. Anyway, once you've dragged all the pieces from the left and into the right side, you can select this little arrow at the top to go back to the warehouse screen showing all cargo containers, and then you should see the box that you put the armor in down where where you found that box, and it should be highlighted as mine is here. Then just drag that box over to the left side and send the elevator back up with the raise elevator button in the bottom left corner. Then the container with the items will come up, and you can now store that box somewhere convenient in your hangar. You can also decorate your hangar area to make it more clear this is your armor area, or you can bring up ground vehicles to match up with the items. You can have a combat area or a mining or salvage area. I like to put my RSI NERSA over near the medical area so I can top off my fluids or fix some low-tiered injuries if I need to, and I keep my medical supply containers next to that. You can even further separate your armor by piece and have a cargo box for just helmets, separated from the chest and arms, etc. I normally just have an armor box, weapon box, ammo box, medical supply box, a food and fluids box, a utilities toolbox, and then a separate attachments box, and then maybe a mining armor box and a trash box to throw away all of my drink containers. When it comes time to equip my gear, I just run to each box and gear up, dragging what I need onto my body, similar to how we use the smaller item kiosks. And it's pretty fast, and sometimes faster than the little kiosks, because I'm not really having to use filters or scroll through tens of hundreds of items to find what I want. Now, another way to be prepared is to have smaller containers. Now, I normally use 2 SCU boxes for things I need for various mission types. So a container with extra ammo, med pens, food, extra weapons, or armor in case that I die, or what have you. Keeping a container with you at all times on your ship while you're out and about to offload items or restock can keep you from having to make trips back to your personal hangar as often, which means you stay out and about and play for longer. One final mention of these containers is to create more armor and other supply containers to transport and keep at your favorite space or Lagrange station. Now, I frequent ARC L1 or HER L1 quite a bit, so taking a few containers of my gear there to store on their freight elevator to keep inside the station is also something that you can do to not have to come all the way back to your starting city as much. Just remember to keep those boxes stored on the elevator and send back down to the warehouse, because those containers will disappear if you leave them on the elevator or in the hangar. Now, one other storage container type before we finish up on is on-ship internal storage or compartments, which can be drawers under beds or large containers built into the ship, or cabinet doors, or even ship weapon racks. Now, I don't use these as much as I used to, because if you lose your ship, you will most likely lose those items, and to me it's just easier to keep everything in a cargo box, especially since if you lose your ship to an explosion, there's still a good chance you could get the storage box back, because they can survive explosions. But if you want to load up storage into these various ship containers, you have that option, and they can work great, especially in a pinch if your cargo containers are full or you forgot to bring some, and having weapons and utility tools in the racks is nice for role playing and really looks cool. And it's an easy way to share those items with other players, since they should have access to those as well. So, a quick recap. Your starter planet is your personal hangar and where all of your items start out. You can access personal kiosks for items you place on your body. You have ship kiosks for getting your ships to the station and in your hangar. You have the cargo elevator to access and transport larger items and for cargo organizing. You have on-ship stores for personal items that you wish to store or share with passengers. Overall, a very robust system that I personally like. Okay, so that's it for this 4.0 little guide, but as mentioned, this is a small guide on a single topic, but there will be a larger guide with all topics in one, so do look for more guides on 4.0, which are all in their own playlist, as I will have quite a few of them. Or you can look for that larger overall guide if that's your thing. Now, if you found anything helpful here, then please consider liking and subscribing, as that really helps my channel grow. I also have a Discord where all are welcome, and we have many nice helpful players who cover a wide range of time zones who can answer questions directly or even help to offer assistance in game, so come on over. Anyway, I've been Black, and let's keep it positive out there as we make our way through the verse.